So guys, this topic is really personal, I guess you could say. I posted in the community tab a couple days ago asking you guys to see what videos you would like me to create. Have a little bit more downtime so I can make a little bit more videos, which is something I've been wanting to do. And one of the comments I got was, what has Yu-Gi-Oh done for you and how has it affected your life? And I think this is a good perspective to talk about just me growing this channel and Yu-Gi-Oh in my life. Considering the fact that I've told the story a couple times, but it's been 3 to 4 years and there's been a lot new subscribers since that time. It's a little bit, I think this video is going to be about me just talking about myself, my past. But I want you guys to understand that I never am the type of person that likes to make their past define their future. You know, my future is going to be a lot different than my past because of the people that I'm around nowadays. So people always ask me, how did I get into Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, it's a funny story. I've told my friends know this story, but a lot of you guys may not. So back in 2002, I think it was, I live currently, and still do, live in Northern Virginia, near the D.C., Maryland area, the nation's capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. I am literally like 30 minutes away from it. And what happened in 2002 after 9/11, the terrorist attacks, is we had what they call the DC Sniper. Now the DC Sniper is, people were freaking out back then, and it was kind of like the virus stuffy that's going on right now, the crush card, because of what was going on, because people were hiding, they were scared of being hurt and shot at and things of that nature. And, they kept us indoors for recess for about 2 months because of what was going on and everything. And that past summer, Yu-Gi-Oh had started coming out, and the show had started airing on Kids WB. And some of my buddies had gotten the Kaiba structure deck, the Yu-Gi structure deck, a few months before, and I actually wanted them. Because the first thing I remember watching that summer was I was watching Pokemon, and then Yu-Gi-Oh came on right after, and it was episode 1. And I saw Blue Eyes White Dragon, my favorite Pokemon, with Charizard and Dragonite growing up. And I said, oh my gosh, I love these dragons. Yes, there is a reason why I'm the real Seto Kaiba. I fell in love with Blue Eyes White Dragon as soon as I saw it. And, soon after, I just wanted to play the game because I thought those dragons were very awesome. So, flash forward about a week or two later, and school had started, and all this stuff I was talking about was going on. And I actually asked one of my friends, where did you get the stuff? And he said 7-Eleven. Well, 7-Eleven back in the day used to sell Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and some Magic too. But they didn't have any Yu-Gi-Oh at the 7-Eleven that I went to, so we went to Toys R Us. Rest in peace. And I go into Toys R Us, and they have all the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff you could imagine. Like, all the Yu-Gi-Oh old school tins, the Summon Skull tin, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, Legend of Blue Eyes. They had everything up to Spell Ruler, I want to say. Spell Ruler, I think, had just come out at this point in time. And I brought packs. My grandmother was awesome. My grandmother was my hero because she literally brought us 3 Kaiba structure decks, 2 Dark Magician Yugi structure decks, a Blue Eyes tin, our Dark Magician tin, and a bunch of blister packs, and Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves, and Yu-Gi-Oh 3 Yu-Gi-Oh binders. I still have my Kaiba one and my Yugi one. So my grandma bought all that stuff for me and my brother. She was the amazing woman. So we got all this stuff. Me and my brother get home, and my brother, he's a little bit younger than me. He's like 5 years younger than me. And we just start playing. We sleeve our cards. We sleeve our decks. And we start playing by Duelist Kingdom because that's what we've seen on TV for the last few weeks. And so Blue Eyes, Battle Ox, all the good stuff. Legend, the Mystical Genie. And we just play by Duelist Kingdom rules. And I think my deck was like 60, 70 cards. Whoop-de-doo. And so I go to school, and we played Fusion Monsters in the main deck, and it was crazy up until about that fall when Pharaoh's Servant came out. And when Pharaoh's Servant came out, Jinzo came out in that set, and Imperial Order. and I got Imperial Orders. I got 3 of them. Traded one for a Jinzo, which I still have, and I started playing more competitively that November. Played Clown Control. Warrior Toolbox wasn't out yet, but I played Clown Control, and I played some beatdown strategies with, lockdown strategies with Snatch and Steal, Confiscation, Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, all that lovely jazz. So I played Clown Control and Beatdown for the early part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Played competitively at locals, at regionals back then. Played Warrior Toolbox. You name the decks, I played them. Fire Princess FTK, Relinquish Turbo. The list goes on and on and on. And so I played for a good couple of years, up until probably 2008, 2007, 2008. And I took about a year. I think 5Ds was about to come out while we were into the GX era, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I got really expensive with Dark Arm Dragon. You had the recession going on back then, and everything was expensive. So I was like, I'm going to dip out of Yu-Gi-Oh! For now. And, at that time in my life, I did track and football for about, since middle school through high school. And so I was this geeky nerd guy that knew everybody. I was a really interesting combination. I was a jock and a nerd. Yeah, and I got along with everyone. The cool kids table, I sat at the cool kids table back then in high school and middle school. That was just me. You wouldn't know it nowadays, but that's what it was. So, like a lot of the the geeks and the nerds I got along with, I could float in between the different, people, and everybody was my friend. So much so that I almost got voted Homecoming King, apparently. I thought it was a joke until I found out, no, it was legit. I was 2 votes away and my best friend won. So I'm happy for him. But fast forward, I played, but I had stopped because I was dating a girl at the time for about a year and a half until graduation. And then I went to college, and in 2010-ish, I started getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I really got into it, and I loved it. And I met my good friends Reggie, Will, all those guys back at Nova, and hung out with them. Alex, Gerald, the list goes on. And we played. And, I hadn't played in 2 years. I was really bad. I was really rusty. I hadn't played competitively probably in, 3 years, 2.5 maybe-ish. So I was a little rusty getting back into it. It was the Synchro era was still going on. I remember that. And I picked up GKs because that was a deck I had played and had topped with back in the day. And so I played GK, 6 Sams, Horse the Black Flame Dragon level 8, which I topped with still. So I played with those 3 decks to start off. And then I started expanding my deck collection, and it just went from there. Got back into playing competitively more and more and more. Went to my 4-year college. Went into Mason. Played a lot of competitively Yu-Gi-Oh! Up until 2014, the end of 2014, because that end of that year, what happened was my dad passed away. So something you have to understand about my past, if you want to understand the person I am now, is when I was 9 years old, my mother passed away from cancer. She had ovarian cancer. It was very sudden. It was very quick. They found out she had cancer, and the next thing I know, she had passed away within a day. Her mother, who lived with us when I was younger, passed away the year before, a week apart, in September. And then the day my dad died, he died a day before she died, 15 years later. And I didn't know this until the day I went to bury him, but we buried them on the same day, 15 years apart. And it was very sudden, and my dad held a lot of things together, even though he was not in the best of health and everything. And it really, he had, at that time, I was going to school, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With my friends at Mason, and then also going to my local McDonald's, because we didn't have a locals at the time in the area, and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! At McDonald's back then, which was crazy. They hated us. They hated us playing Yu-Gi-Oh! At McDonald's. It was weird, but it was like, whatever, we're buying food. Stop it. They wouldn't even let me record sometimes. That's how bad it was. I was just like, oh my gosh, come on, guys. So we did all that, and I got into this bad funk because I lost my dad. Everything I had known in life had changed. Everything had just gone upside down. And Yu-Gi-Oh was this thing to keep me just steady, like, and everything. And at the time I met my ex-girlfriend, and we were going out. Everything was good. She kept me even keeled. I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I did YouTube, but I wasn't happy fully. I was happy, but not happy at the time. And I played competitively off and on, and I was just like, I'm just. It took many years for me to get over my dad's passing, because what happened was my grandparents, who I was very close with, and you have to understand, I was so close, I was actually their caretaker. My father, while he did help me out, it was mainly me that took care of my grandparents on a day-to-day basis, giving them their medicine, their shots, making sure they were fed, making sure they had food, cooking for them, cleaning them up, just taking care of them when they had an ambulance had to be called because they had collapsed on the floor. So I was very close with them. I never lived more than probably 10 minutes away from my grandparents my entire life, up till when I was 24, 25 years old. And my dad had just died, and a couple months after my dad died, my grandmother died, and within a year after she died, my grandfather died. So they all passed away within the span of 2 years-ish, and it really was just taking a toll on me. And Yu-Gi-Oh was an outlet to hang out with guys like that, and it was really helpful. It was really helpful to do all that and just have a social outlet. But life just wasn't going good for me at that time. I had been hit and beaten up, and I was just hating life. And I really got into a bad place when my ex broke up with me, and that did not go pretty. When I found out what happened and the reasons why she broke up, because it was because of another guy. Let's just say that and end it there. And I just said, oh my gosh, wow. And I had already had plans set up for our future and everything, and she just didn't want to be a part of it, no matter how much I tried and tried to make her happy and try to improve myself. And then I met some friends of mine, and they really started helping build me up over about a year ago now, about a year and a half now. And I started getting better, rehabilitating myself. I literally, if you want to think how low I had gotten, look at the ground and look underneath the ground, and you'll probably see the imprint of where I was at. That's pretty much how I thought of myself, lower than dirt. But then thanks to the good people I met and the people I started associating with, I started picking myself up, and I started working at my local card store. And I really enjoyed it, and I thought that's where I was going to work for the foreseeable future. But God has a way of changing and having a plan for you. And the card store closed back in September it was, of 2019. And I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do with my life? And at that point, I had been working on myself a lot, and my association had changed a lot with the people. And I had still been playing Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, constantly, and I had gone to major events and all this stuff. But I said, okay, I think there's going to be a different life course I'm going. So I got a job very shortly after that, working as a banker. And I still play Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's been really hard to play Yu-Gi-Oh because there's really not there's a community up here where I live at, but there's no place to really play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm very busy with things going on in my life and other things. And so I just really haven't had time to sit down and do that stuff. But I still get time. I put time aside each month, a few hours each month. Usually once a week for a couple hours, I'll go to a local card store that's a little ways away from me, and I go play Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit for fun. And that's why I joke with my friends that I'm semi-retired. But I love this game. But I'm gonna always enjoy playing it. I'm always gonna love the memories. and knowing that how much Yu-Gi-Oh helped me get through all those down times in my life. Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon go hand in hand. I mean, there's a different universe out there that this is not a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, but a Pokemon channel. I'm not joking. There probably is out there, but because that's how much I've loved Pokemon, just as much as I love Yu-Gi-Oh. But as things have developed, and life has taken me a little bit of a different way. I love Yu-Gi-Oh, I love Pokemon, but I also enjoy doing other things in life now. And I still love the game. It's always going to be a part of me. I still have my collection. Haven't sold anything really to speak of. And I just do it for fun now. I do it for the enjoyment of it. I do it because I like it, because I enjoy it. And, I do it because I enjoy you guys and you guys enjoying the stuff. And, when you have 20 years almost of experience of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing competitively, probably, gosh, for 15 to 16 years of that, there's a lot of stuff you accumulate. And yeah, I'm semi-retired. I haven't quit. I'm probably never going to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! But, am I going to still enjoy it as a hobby? Yes, I will. Will I still enjoy maybe where I go to a regionals maybe once in a while? Yeah, you bet. But do I have other things in my life I like doing now? Yeah. I mean, I'm almost 30 years old. I'm almost 30. I'll be 30 in May. And, Yu-Gi-Oh's helped me out through my 20s a lot. A lot. And it helped me out in my teens a lot. So I love this game and what it's done for me. I love this channel and what it's been able for me to do and connect with all you guys and the friends and relationships I've created on this channel. And I love it. And, people always say to me, oh, people don't know this, but it's kind of funny. I started out a couple months before SEMO. Yeah. Me and SEMO participated back in the day in the next great Yu-Gi-Tuber competition, like years ago. And I remember back when before he had his red beard. And, I think we're the only two people out of that entire 30, 40 people that participated that are still around these years later. And people ask, why did you not blow up like him? Well, you have to understand some of the things I was going through in life, like I've talked about. You have to understand that up until a year ago, I never had internet at a house. If I wanted to upload any videos, I had to drive to a library, upload them. And I didn't have a car until after my dad passed away. So that was really hard to do, per se. And then with everything going on in life. But, it's not about the past. It's about, the story of me and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about a story of overcoming my past and becoming a better person because of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of my relationships that I've made in the game. And I'm not going to be defined by the person I was last decade. I'm going to be a better person this coming decade. I'm going to be, Yu-Gi-Oh! Will probably be a part of my life. And I'll still do, videos for fun. I will. But, there's other things I want to do with my life. But I still love this game. I still do. So, take this story as a story of overcoming, guys. And know that no matter what you're going through, you can always overcome, and things will always get better. No matter how dark they may seem, you will overcome them if you keep pressing forward. Put one step in front of the other. And you will win, and you will survive, and you will be victorious. Hope you guys enjoyed this topic about me and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody, and good luck doing it to all of you. Good night.